this morning's gospel reading, we hear the Shema combined with another very important rule for Jewish living in the time of Jesus. And what Jesus did with these two rules was quite radical. He combined the two of them together to help the people of his time, and the people of our time also, to understand how to love God and how to concretely love God by loving our neighbors also. And so the great Shema prayer, Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is Lord alone, and you shall love the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And then the second part that he added on, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And the wonderful part about that, those particular two rules, is it's a boiling down of the Ten Commandments. I have in my hand here something that my brother-in-law gave me. He's a man of Jewish descent, and when he went into his house, at his mother's house all the time, this is the very first thing he saw. It's not quite a mezuzah. It actually has the Ten Commandments written in Hebrew, and he would see them every time he walked into her house. It was a reminder that he was to keep the law. And the Ten Commandments actually for us are a little bit like the Shema. The first three concern our relationship with God, and the last seven concern our relationship with all other people. But this morning's gospel actually is not so much pointed towards that truth, that we must love God with everything we have and love our neighbor as ourselves. But at the end of the gospel, no one questioned him anymore because he spoke with authority. And that's one of the great good news parts of the gospel, is that Jesus helped us to understand with authority who God is for us and what he's like. And so our God calls us in love. He calls us into being with love. He gives us all of this creation with all of its enormous reality and all of its small cellular reality. And he calls us to love all of it and to see his presence in all of it. As we come to a conclusion of this month of October, we can generate a great understanding of God's love for us in Jesus Christ, that the rules that Jesus is giving help us again, steer us towards the good news that we are called to give, to show God love by our worship, but we're also called to show love that God has given to us as a free gift to others, as a way that we regard and help one another. Love is the basis of all of our understanding and all of our relationships with God and with others. This week we are challenged very authoritatively to learn to continue to love. What I'm so glad that Jesus said was he said love everybody. It doesn't mean you have to like everyone, and because that's very hard to do. But we do have the ability to love one another, and that's the call that God has given to each one of us. And we're strengthened in our ability to do that by the scriptures, by the Eucharist, by all the other sacraments, and by our gathering together as a community of worship. This day we might ask ourselves, how do I love God, and how do I love my neighbor? May God bless you in this week.